UK in full figure.
Frank, you've got two boxes here now. Let's start with first of all, why have you signed him? What do you expect from him?
Well, I've signed Tony because he's obviously an Olympian. He's got a great personality. He's a good fighter, and he brings a big crowd from the northeast. You know, it's like a package, and it's exciting times ahead for Tony and for the northeast, because they've always been looking for a hero since the days of Glenn McCrory.
Glittering amateur career for Tony, but how difficult will be the transition now from the amateur to the professional game?
Well, I don't think it'll be that difficult, because as they both said here at the press conference today, that they've fought in big arenas, they've travelled the world, you know, they know what pressure is. He'll just be getting used to fighting with smaller gloves, without their head guard, and for longer rounds, and that just takes time. You know, after about 3 or 4 fights, they'll settle down, and you'll see Tony performing like an old hand.
What do you think the preparation's been like for Tony now? Because he only knew he only knew how to fight 3 weeks ago or something like that. How's his preparation gone?
I believe it's gone very well. You know, he's got a good trainer there in Joe Gallagher. He's up there in Manchester, which is the fight capital at the moment, using Ricky Hatton's old gym. Jamie Moore's been popping in and out and seeing him and giving him advice. So, you know, and he's just very keen, and he's just so confident and just wants to get in the ring. That's why you know you've got a good fighter, because I did offer him a later date to make his pro debut, but he wanted to make it quicker. If he could have made it within a week of signing him, he would have done it.
What potential's he got, Frank?
Potential to go all the way. You know, he's got the track record of an amateur. It's my job to make sure that he doesn't rush, that he's looked after properly, and that his career's handled right, and that the right fights are picked at the right time.
Darren now as well, he's already had his debut fight, but still early on in his career. What potential has he got?
Well, his potential is I've got to hold him back. He wants to fight the best already. I mean, he's a little bit older than Tony Jeffries. He's got that pro style. He's already spent a lot of time in pro gyms, and he just loves the work. He just loves boxing. He lives boxing 24/7. He's a very unusual character.
Now, he might not be so well known to some of our viewers, except if they maybe remember that he lost out to James DeGale in the Olympic semi-final. How much is sort of a motivating fact for him to aspire to do well in the programme? Because his record against DeGale is 4-2 up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, he will, out of all of them, he'll be the first one to get to the Holy Grail of the world title. You know, a lot of the viewers, I think, saw him make his pro debut on December the 18th on Sky, and he got a great reception. He maybe is not well known in the UK, but in Ireland he is an ultimate hero. I mean, he has Ricky Hatton status in Ireland, which I think is fantastic. Now, if we can get the Irish community that are based in England behind him as well as the English boxing fans, because no matter what nationality you are, if you're a good boxer, they love you, and that's what we're doing. You know, by now having his next couple of fights over here, then he'll go back to Ireland. He will pick up fan base from both sides, Ireland and over here in the UK.
Begs the obvious question: DeGale, Sutherland, who's better?
I'm obviously going to say Sutherland, you know, but I'm not going to get into that at the moment. It's a matter of both of them just taking their time, the right fights, and when the time's right, hopefully Frank Warren and myself can sit down and we can make the fight the whole of the British and the Irish would love to see revenge or rematch or repeat, whatever you want to call it. But it's a fight that I think is a mouth-watering fight, but it is down the road. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's you know, down the road.
Another comparison for Darren now. He's been likened, if you were to beef up and become a super middleweight, Joe Calzaghe. A lot of comparisons from people saying the style and his desire, hunger. Is that a comparison that sits well with you?
Well, if he does as well as Joe Calzaghe, I'll be very happy. A big admirer of Joe Calzaghe's, and I think, you know, he's done very well. And, you know, he's got out at the right time. And yeah, we are looking for someone. And if Darren Sutherland can step into Joe's shoes, and if he's being compared with Joe, that shows you how well respected he is in the boxing scene. Is
there a gap in the market at the moment? You know, reports of boxing's demise may be premature, but you've got these Olympic medalists now coming through. Is this a gap that needs to be filled?
I think it's great times ahead of us. The next 18 months, 3 years, is fantastic. It's going to be a great time for boxing. You know, boxing, Sky doing a great job for boxing. I mean, they're showing much more boxing, they're showing a lot more young talent and giving a great opportunity to them. And, you know, with the credit crunch, boxing always comes through. You always get more people who want to come in and fight. I'm inundated with phone calls of young boys who want to turn pro now, but it's just keeping them busy. So I know over the next 3 years we're going to see some real stars come out of Britain and Ireland.
Tell us a story, Frank, about the signing of these two and the comparisons with something you did 20 years ago. 2008, you signed 2 Olympic medalists. 1988,
I signed Lennox Lewis, the gold medal, who went on to become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and I signed a young featherweight called Paul Ingalls, who went on to become the featherweight IBF champion. You know, so I look at it the same. Lennox was an overseas fighter who came and based his career in Britain because he was British born. Darren is an Irish fighter who's come and based his career here and has had links with Britain. And Tony's from the northeast, and Paul was from, I want to get this right, Scarborough. Is that the northeast, the northwest, isn't it?
Not quite the northeast. It's on the east coast.
On the east coast. So the comparison is, you know, is there, and I'm a great believer in fate. You know, I believe things happen and things go around, and I was getting bored with boxing anyway. All of a sudden, I'm excited again. I've got such a buzz about the next 3 years. They can't come quick enough. The days, the nights. I just want them to keep going.
What makes you though sign amateur boxers? You know, you compare now with 1988 when you saw Lennox. You weren't to know he was going to become a world champion. What are you looking for? What are the pitfalls? What are you looking for?
Well, it's dedication, it's commitment, and it's hard work. And you know, I've seen that in both these guys. When I met Darren, I was totally impressed with his setup, how he's operated and what he wanted. When I met Tony, the pitfalls that he had with the previous promoter that he'd signed with, and how damn beat he was, but how keen he was to get back in the ring again. And I didn't offer them both the best financial package. I'm sure they've got better financial packages elsewhere, but I offered them something that I think, you know, appealed to them. I'm a boxing man through and through, and I mapped out a plan that a boxer could understand. And at the end, the golden goose was at the end, not at the beginning, because if the fighter gets it at the beginning, they don't want to work. I like a fighter who wants to work to the end package, and that's what I've got in my two.
Top stuff. Fine. Happy with that? Lovely.